Thank you for joining me today. We are going to do a filter challenge today for our container, which consists of grocery items. We are going to make sure that we create a input box for our users that can search different types of category and different items in it. It has to be case insensitive so that we can have different cases and it will still show up those items. Next, we're going to create some buttons that can be switched for different filtered purposes, which is the cheap button, where we can see prices and items that are less than $5. We also want that buttons to also have different functionality while different filters are happening, and another button that must have a functionality that shows different or that shows all the items in our page. So that's what we're gonna do right now. We will create an input field for our targeted items, two buttons for our cheap button and our all prices or all items button. So here we are trying to create an input tag. I think I misspelled it for import, but it should be input. Once I was second guessing myself here, but I quickly fixed it. So here it is. We have our input box. As you can see in our page, we will put a type in it, which is text, so that we can put characters in it. Then we're gonna put a placeholder for that is named category, because we're gonna our deliverable says that it wants only category filtered names in that text box. So here we created a cheap button and the all prices button. Okay, so we are going for creating or inputting the items in our page. So we created a map method right here to show up all the items that is inside of our objects array. We are gonna destructure it so that we can create different items to show up in our lists. Then we're gonna destructure it here. We're gonna break it down a little bit more to ID, name, category, and price, and assign it to each item. So here we are gonna return, because we want to have the program to render a list with the key value of ID for each item. So we'll figure out what item it is by using the key tag. Now we're gonna put the name, the category, and the price, so it will show up in our page. Okay, once it's done, everything is looking good. So we have our backbone for our page. We just need to create the functionality in it. Here we are going to create a useState variable for our search functionality. So we have a set search and we're gonna put an all useState with an empty string here. And then we are going to create a handle search variable that handles the event where anything that changes inside those text box, it will read it. Okay, and yeah, we were gonna target those values and characters that's inside the text box by using this handle search variable. And there you have it. We are going to input those variable inside of our input element. So here's our value and our on change. Let's make sure that we have that there. And then what we're trying to do next is that we are going to create a filter functionality. So for this we need another variable for our filter. It will be our initial filter values and filter we're gonna use it for our text box, for our cheap button, and for our all prices button. So it has multiple functionality. So here we are creating the function that will handle the filters for those functionality. So every time we type in different category, it will show the different items that targets those items. Then when we click the cheap button, it will target another filter that will show up items that are priced below $5. And once the filter all prices is clicked, it will filter for all the items. So here we are just writing down our equation basically for our filtered items using the filter method, having the item variable right there for individual items. Then we are creating the matched items for our search bar. We want item that category to be there because we are targeting categories of our item, and we want to have a two lowercase there so that it's gonna be targeting our deliverable for our case, so that for any letters that we put in there, capital or lower, it will still read it as lowercase, and we will get that items that we want. So here we return the matched item. So here we're gonna type in dairy. So all the products of dairy is showing up, different capital letters, different lowercase, uppercase, different types. So we passed that, so we deleted now our first deliverable. There you go. And then now we're gonna try to create the functionality for our buttons. So now here we put a matched price variable, which targets our item dot price, or no, the filter, because it will filter the item dot price. So we're gonna create a conditional statement here. Conditional statement for if the filter is equals to cheap, then we want the item price to show items that has the item price of less than or equal to 5, and if it's false, we want everything. So if the filter is clicked for false, we want that to return true for everything to show up. Hope I'm saying it right. We want everything to show up, which is true, right? But it's false in our conditional statement. We want everything, all our items, to show up. Here we're just adding a on-click function to the button so that it can read our filter change handler with the property of cheap right here, and we're gonna copy that and paste it to our other button, but change cheap to all so that it can read everything that once, or can read all our items. So here we have an error. I believe we typed in an extra greater than on our on click button. So we are going to try to find that right here on our button. Now I realize that it's in the button on click, and I'm gonna go ahead and delete that in a few seconds. There it is. Okay, and everything is showing up. Now to test our syntax, if it's actually working. Here we're trying to test if we can get dairy and cheap dairy, and there you go. Both functionality work. They are asynchronous and working together. Okay, and we're gonna test the all prices, and we completed it. Thank you for watching, and have a good day. Like and subscribe. Bye bye.